Welcome to Piano Video Lessons. I'm Lisa, and today we're working on Grade 1 Piano Technical Exercises and Etudes. This is Unit 1 of Year 2. In our last lesson, we learned to play Study in C by Carl Czerny. In this lesson, we're going to be going back to do some more technical studies. We've already learned to play our solid triads, and next we're going to be working with the same chord notes to learn to play these triads in broken form. You can find these in your ebook on page 9, Major Triads Broken Form. And if you'd like to get a copy of the ebook, just click the info card here in the corner if you're not already at pianovideolessons.com. Alright, so let's get started. If you're comfortable playing your solid triads in inversions, then this lesson will be fairly comfortable for you. So I suggest, if you have not yet learned to play your solid triads, that you go back to lesson number 2 and work on that first, because I'm expecting that you know how to do it. And I'll put the link right here in case you don't know how to do it. So let's just look here, starting at middle C, and reminding ourselves that the C triad is made of 3 notes, C, E, and G. And if we look at our sheet, we can see them written here in triplet form. Now, there's some rhythm here that we maybe have not seen before. It's possible that you have, but it's possible that you also have not. We're used to seeing 2/8 like this. This is 2/8 notes, and they share a beat, and we would count them like 1 and, because they share beat number 1. If you see 3/8 with a little number 3 above it, we call this triplet eighths. Triplet eighths. And these notes share a beat. So we would count these one-nanda. And I like to say the word pineapple for triplets, because it's a really nice word to say with every syllable spaced out. So if you speak English, pineapple, pineapple, pineapple will help you with this exercise. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take these same 3 notes and move them through the inversions, C, E, G, and move them to the first inversion, second inversion, and third back to root position. So it's the same as the solid form, but it's now played 1 note at a time. So we call these broken triads. Broken because the solid group is now being played 1 note at a time. So if we're looking here at the C triad, we'll see these little 3s above the groups that represent the fact that we're playing these as triplet eighth notes, and they're always with the beam, so here they're underneath the notes. And in this case right here, we're going to see a number 2, and that is our finger number 2. And if you recall, there is always one inversion that uses finger 2 in the triads. So we use our 3rd finger in root position and our 2nd finger when we move to first inversion. So we're going to use the exact same fingering when we do these in broken form. I guess I'll just leave those there for another quick second, because what we're doing is breaking the triad, but then starting with those same 2 notes and moving the C, or whatever the lowest note was, up to the top. And then we're going to move our thumb to this one, and we're going to jump the E up to the top. We're going to move our thumb to that next bottom note to end up in root position. Then coming back down, we're going to move our 5 to what used to be the middle note, and we're going to bring that top note down, bring our 5 in. Here we're playing, in your way, playing finger 2, and then moving our 5 to that what was the middle note, and bringing our tonic back down to the bottom, the root of the chord in root position. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you as it should sound instead of as teaching it. So it's written out here, and I'm going to play it. So you notice that I played the top G twice. When I got to the very top, I played a triplet, and it's written out here, and then I have to go back down. I'm going to play a triplet. So I actually replay the very last note twice in order to have triplets in every grouping. So here it is: root position, finger 3, first inversion, finger 2, second inversion, finger 3, root position, back to finger 3 again, coming down, same notes, cropping in, and moving my 5 down 1 time for each new inversion. So the most important thing is to pay attention to when you play your finger 2, and it's going to be right here on G. And then the other thing to do is use your eyes to target the new note. So it's easy to see the ones we're on. These 2 are going to be taken over by the next fingers, and then this one is going up here. So we'll play these 2. I'm going to take these ones over and bring the E up, and then I'm going to take these ones over and I'm bringing the G up. So that's the way you sort of navigate this. Same thing coming down. You're going to bring your 5 in, bringing that top note to the bottom, bringing your 5 in, finding that note at the bottom, bringing your 5 in. So it's helpful sometimes to play the solid. If you're already comfortable playing these in solid form, just play the solid form first and then play the broken form. So solid, broken, solid, broken, solid, broken, solid, broken. Alright, so let's go on to the G major, and it's going to use exactly the same pattern that we just played. Now remembering the right hand goes 3 in the middle, 2 in the middle, 3 in the middle, 3 in the middle. So we're going to play our second finger immediately when we get into that first inversion. So I'm going to start up here on this G, just as it's written here, and you can see also that I have marked in the finger number 2 in that first inversion. I do not mark it on the way down, so you can go right ahead and find it and mark it yourself on the descending pattern when you're looking for the finger number 2 is going to be on the D. So here we go. It's going to start off with G, and then we're going to come up to B, reaching for G on top, come up to D, and up to G. Coming back down in triplets, 5 moves to B, 5 moves to G, 5 moves to D. Something else that you can do to help yourself target these notes is you could mark them with, I don't know, some like erasers, little tiny chocolate chips, I don't know, anything you might have around that you could put on the piano keys to help you see the G, B, D, G, B, D, and then follow by just only playing those keys. That would be a good intermediate step. So I only played notes that have chips on them. Now I'm moving up to the next chip, still only playing notes with chips, and then I'm at the top and coming back down. I'd like it better if this was a red chip. I don't have an extra red chip right here, but I was marking the root with blue, so imagine that one's red. So that's a helpful way to get your fingers looking for the right shapes. And then you could take some of them away, like maybe take away the G's and see what happens. And then just look for the G. I'm looking for a G, there it is. And then take away one more. You get the idea. But remove the crutch as soon as you feel comfortable doing so. And the next triad that we'll do is the F major, and it's exactly the same thing. In fact, if you were not watching, if you could play that with your eyes closed, which I'm doing right now, it doesn't matter which note you started on, it feels exactly the same. You can't tell that my eyes are closed, but they are. Alright, so that's the broken triad up and down of F major. I'm playing triplet eighths. I'm using the 3-2-3-3 pattern, starting in root position and moving through first and second and back to root. So when we look at these in the music, it's maybe a little harder to see the interval of a fourth, but let's just carefully look at this one here for F major. You can see that it's going space, 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 line. And right there, that is the first time that we're reaching up a fourth because we've got a space to a line. And intervals of a third always move from the same kind of note, like space, to another space. But then when we get to a fourth, we've opened it up. We're still starting on a space, but we're going to a line note. So now in this group here, we see the space to a line is at the beginning of the group, and then we're back to line, line, line. And these are thirds again because they're going from from the same kind of note to the next same kind, from one line to the very next line. And then coming back down, you can look again, line, 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 space. So here's our first fourth, and then line, space, space. Here's another fourth, and then space, space, space. So you can start to look for the thirds and fourths. In music, we will be using these triads in broken form in various pieces. So it's helpful to be able to recognize what a triad's going to look like. I mean, I could draw a little picture over here to show you that it's going to look like 3 notes that are moving up, usually by skip, and sometimes 3 notes that are moving up with a bigger distance between the first 2, and sometimes 3 notes that are moving up with a bigger distance between the last 2. But you'll start to recognize when you see a third pattern, or a third plus a fourth pattern, that those are triads in broken form. Now let's look at the left hand, and just as we learned before, the left hand is going to play 3, 3, 2, 3 as the middle finger for these notes. We're using the same notes as before, so for C major, we're going to start with C, E, G. Moving up to E, putting C on the top. Moving up to G with E on the top. Back to root position. Now E on the top, G on the bottom, E on the bottom, C on the bottom. We really more focus on what notes on the bottom when we're thinking about these inversions. So C on the bottom, that's your root. E on the bottom is first inversion. G on the bottom is second inversion. Back to root. Coming down, we've got C on the bottom, G on the bottom, E on the bottom, C on the bottom. And the reason we think of it that way is because of how we'll be naming them in much future lessons and some more complicated theoretical aspects of these things. So it's just always good to start with the right thing in mind. Okay, G major, starting here, we've got root position, first inversion, finger 2, second inversion, back to root. Coming down, second inversion with 2, first inversion, and root position. And then we've got the F triad, root position, first inversion, second inversion with finger 2, back to root. Playing that top note twice, 2 on F. Great. Now, when I'm looking at this sheet here, I noticed something that could have been improved about the way I wrote it. This finger 2 should really be on the middle note. It looks like it's above the first note. I think I know what happened there. I respaced things after I finished them, and the finger number didn't move along with it. So in those cases there, you want to make sure that the finger number 2 is on the second note, not over the first note. These ones look okay. That one's over the 2. That one's over the second note, and this one's okay as well. So you can look through here and find the same grouping, with the one that looks the same in reverse over here, and mark the finger 2 there yourself, or simply put another box around it to show yourself where you're looking to play finger 2. This is your left hand. Okay, so this is the end of the lesson. In our next lesson, we're going to be learning another piece of music. Having a look at the list here, we're jumping down to play the second piece. It's the Elevator, and it's on page 12 with study notes on page 13. And I hope you join me in this next lesson because we're learning these etudes, the grade 1 level etudes, in order to prepare ourselves for the technical demands of the Baroque repertoire and the classical repertoire that we're going to be learning in units 2 and 3. So these are super important lessons, and I hope you stick with them. See you soon.